Welcome to the Old Time Radio Westerns. I'm your host, Andrew Rhynes, and let's get into this episode. This episode is going to be The Lone Ranger. Original air date is November 5th, 1943. The title is Barbary Coast. This is part 3 of 3. Let's get into it, and I hope you enjoy.
Hi-yo, Silver! Away! A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-yo, Silver! The Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. The stories of his strength and courage, his daring and resourcefulness have come down to us through the generations. And nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver. There's danger on the trail ahead. Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
In all the world, there was no more dangerous place than the Barbary Coast. Criminals of the lowest type from all over the world were banded under ruthless leaders such as Dirk Gimlet and Drake Raven. Criminals to whom a human life meant nothing. Outlaws who dealt in human souls. All of them knew that the Lone Ranger had arrived in the vicinity to fight them, and throughout the mud-filled streets, all denizens had a common determination to get the Lone Ranger. The masked man knew the odds against him. He knew that his life was worth little in the Barbary Coast. Yet he must go to the very depths of the unholy community in his attempt to rescue Sally Gerson. The girl was held captive by Shark Larson, a ship owner whose brutality was known in every port. Against the likelihood that he might fail to return, the Lone Ranger told Tonto to remain in camp, that he might follow out the masked man's plans for the future. Dan Reed had been sent to the home of Arnold Gerson, Sally's millionaire father, where he was to meet Gerson's son Bob, a boy his own age, with whom he would start school.
You must be Dan Reed. Sure glad to meet you. I'm Bob Gerson. Come on inside. Father's expecting you.
Glad to know you, Bob. I just rode up on my horse.
I've heard about your horse. You call him Victor, don't you?
Yes, I didn't know
Jack
you...
will take good care of him. He's Father's groom.
He took charge of Victor, but
He'll be all right. Come on in and meet the family.
Hey, golly. You sure live in a fine house.
It's awful big. I'd hate to be the one to have to scrub this hall.
Me too. Do you have a horse, Bob?
Yes, but nothing like Victor. He's the son of the Lone Ranger Silver, isn't he?
Yeah.
I sure envy you.
Hey, where's the prisoner?
Oh, you know about him?
Yeah. Lone Ranger told me someone came here wearing a mask.
You should have seen that. Dad let him in thinking it was the Lone Ranger. Then when the crook got inside, he pulled a gun on Dad and Grandma and waited to shoot the Lone Ranger.
Well, what happened to him?
The Lone Ranger got in the first shot and wounded the man. His name is Sage. Someone named Gimlet sent him here.
Oh, Dirk Gimlet. He runs a place in the Barbary coast. And last night the Lone Ranger had a run-in with him. Where's Sage now?
He's tied up in the den. Father's guarding him. There's my dad at the far end of the hall.
Golly, he's a fine-looking man.
I think so.
And big.
Well, so you finally arrived, huh?
Dad, this is Dan Reed.
Yes, I assumed as much. Delighted to know you, Dan.
Mighty glad to meet you, too, Mr. Gerson.
Where's Grandma?
She went to her room for a moment. She'll join us in my study. We'll await the Lone Ranger there where we can watch the prisoner.
Dan, the Lone Ranger said he'd be back here by midnight.
You know what he's trying to do, don't you, Dan?
Yes, sir. He thinks your kidnapped daughter's on board a ship.
The Claire de Lune, at anchor in the bay.
Yes, sir.
The ship is owned by Shark Larson. Dangerous man. I hope the Lone Ranger didn't go alone. Did Tonto go with him?
No, sir. Tonto's waiting in case something happens to the Lone Ranger. If that happens, Tonto will act.
Oh.
But the Lone Ranger didn't go alone. He had a friend named Jimmy.
Jimmy?
A sailor. Just got back from a cruise, and Dirk Gimlet tried to Shanghai him on another. That was last night. The Lone Ranger rescued Jimmy.
Then Jimmy, whatever his name is, knows something of the Barbary coast?
Yes, sir.
He should be a help.
Did the Lone Ranger tell you his plan, Dan?
Partly. He knew that a killer had been sent by Dirk Gimlet. So he went to the Barbary coast with his face disguised. But he wore the mask in his regular clothes.
He did?
That's suicide.
Well, he planned to make Gimlet and Dreg Raven and the others think he was the one who'd been hired to kill the Lone Ranger.
He went there posing as Sage, is that it?
Yes, sir. He knows that Dreg Raven supplies men for Shark Larson.
Yes.
He's going to make everyone think Sage is likely to tell the police that Gimlet hired him. To do something to make the crooks want him out of the way. He wants Dreg Raven to Shanghai him.
What?
Shanghai the Lone Ranger?
Well, not really. You see, when they take him on board the boat, they'll think he's unconscious. But he won't be. Both he and Jimmy will have hidden weapons. Then they'll find your daughter and get her off the boat.
But what if it's learned that he's not Sage? What if the crooks learn that he's really the Lone Ranger?
Well, I don't like to think of what might happen.
Arnold Gerson.
Oh, here's my mother.
Graham, this is Dan Reed.
Glad to know you, lad. Arnold, who's guarding the rat?
He's securely tied, Mother.
Secure my eye. Don't trust no ropes to hold that killer. Come along, we better keep an eye on
Look,
him.
he's coming out of the den.
Nobody can hold me!
The crooks got free!
Catch him!
Look, the doors. Henry, Pete, stop that man.
He's heading for that hall window.
Get a gun! Drill the varmint!
Out this way.
What's happened, Mr. Gerson?
The prisoner got away.
Where's my horse? Get Victor. I'll go after him.
No, Dan, not you.
But I've got
Get all the servants. Catch that man and bring him back.
Let me go.
No, Dan. The Lone Ranger does not want you mixed up in this war of the Barbary coast.
He'll get away. You'll tell him. They'll know it's the real Lone Ranger, and he won't have a chance.
The man, Bart Sage, who tried to kill the Lone Ranger, was quickly shrouded by the darkness of Nob Hill. He raced westward at top speed. Behind him lay gorgeous palaces that had been built by Comstock millionaires and railroad builders. Homes of men like Mark Hopkins, Leland Stanford, James Flood, Charles Crocker, and many more. On he raced toward the waterfront, the Barbary coast. Then he slogged his way through slimy mud that was ankle deep until he reached the Thunderbolt Cafe, where he reported to the man who hired him, Dirk Gimlet.
Instead of me getting the Lone Ranger, he got me. Shot me in the arm. I just got away from Gearson's house.
Sage, you eternally confounded fool. When Larson hears of this... but he's got to know right away. I'll probably find Larson with Dreg Raven. Raven, this is Gimlet. Let me in. Raven, thank goodness Shark Larson is here with you.
What's the matter, Gimlet? You seen a ghost?
Where's the masked man?
On board the Claire de Lune by this time. Why?
We don't waste no time. What's got your lines all tangled?
Bart Sage just came into my place.
Sage is on my boat. He's still wearing his mask.
No, don't you understand? The Lone Ranger beat Sage to the draw. It was the Lone Ranger that came here.
What?
Are you sure?
I know it for a fact.
But the Lone Ranger don't drink.
I know it. That means he didn't get your knockout drugs. It means he's wide awake and playing possum.
He's done it to get on board my boat so he can rescue Sally Gerson. All right. Raven, get all the men you can trust. Get men and boats. We'll show the Lone Ranger that Shark Larson ain't to be fooled with.
In an incredibly short space of time, a score of men and enough small boats to carry them were assembled on the shore.
We're boarding the Claire de Lune. There's a couple of my men on board in addition to Japs. They're on guard.
Japs?
Don't interrupt me when I'm speaking. They wouldn't listen to our party. I said Japs. They're doing guard duty for me. On the deck, you'll find about 10 or 12 men that Raven hired for me.
Hired, that's good.
There's 2 men I want. Just 2. One is that critic called Jimmy. The other is the Lone Ranger. Mainly, I want the Lone Ranger. Maybe the mate took off his mask. If so, the mate will know which one he is. Now board the Claire de Lune. Shove off.
Aye, aye.
The vicious crew put out from shore, pointing their small boats toward the Claire de Lune, which was darkly outlined against the night sky. Raven sat in the stern of one skiff.
Needn't be afraid of busting them oars by pulling on them.
I'm doing the best I can, Raven.
Hell, and do better. Shark Larson's boat's getting there ahead of us.
Raven, this here's kind of new to me.
And it's generally called Shanghai.
Yeah, that's new to me. How's it work?
Men don't like to sail the sea with Larson.
So I've heard.
You can't hire a crew.
You do the hiring for him?
I give likely-looking men a drink. It's got a special drug in it. Go to sleep, and they're taken to the Claire de Lune and hoisted to the deck.
Oh, I see.
They wake up for sailing time, the mate puts them to sleep again, one way or another. By the time they get wide awake, they're out to sea. Then they can work or take what comes. Most of them would sooner work.
Oh. What about this Lone Ranger?
Well, he thought he'd put over a trick on Shark, but he won't. Just wait till we get there. You'll see just how cruel Shark Larson can be.
Meanwhile, a number of unconscious men sprawled on the deck of the Claire de Lune. Among them lay the Lone Ranger and his newfound sailor friend, Jimmy. They spoke in low voices.
The mate's gone over to the port side, Jim. Some small boats are coming this way.
Do you think it's more poor critters have been knocked out like these around us?
I think not. We've got to work fast.
Keep below the rail. It's dark, but you could be seen if you stood. What are you doing?
Getting this shirt off. I have another beneath it. I want to get at the extra weapons and other things I brought.
Still got the mask on?
Yes. A couple of the men lifted it. They left it on. I have a disguise of my face beneath it, so it wouldn't have mattered if they had taken it off. Here, Jim, take this.
A gun?
Yes, a Derringer. Good for close range.
That girl somewhere on board. Remember what was said?
Well, the mate said she'd been making trouble trying to break away.
Yeah. The ornery buzzards might hurt her trying to keep her here.
Ahoy! Claire de Lune!
That's Shark Larson.
Yeah.
Ahoy, Captain Larson!
Wait! They're coming aboard! Last man you got isn't any more unconscious than I am. He's a Lone Ranger.
Did you hear that?
Jim, listen to me. I came with a few plans in case this happened.
The one with the mask?
Yes. If anyone tries to get away, shoot to kill.
Give me a hand, Jimmy. This is the showdown.
All right, get aboard there. Come on, Raven.
Yeah. I saw the masked man. The lubber that delivered him said he was supposed to be the Lone Ranger, but he really wasn't.
He really was. And he ain't unconscious at all. Neither's the man that was with him.
Then...
You and you. Go around that way. You four go around the stern.
All the men are sprawled out sleeping on the starboard side.
Find the masked man still there. Don't waste no time.
Aye.
How about the girl?
Japs are watching her. She can't get away.
You three stay with me. In case we don't find the Lone Ranger, we'll post guards and search below deck. Take lanterns so as no one gets past you in the dark. Now shove off. There's $100 to the man who gets the Lone Ranger.
Hey, Larson, Shark Larson. Over here, look. I found him, mask and all.
Hey, hold the light closer.
Stand him up and make him talk before we finish him.
Let me see him.
Take the mask off.
Stand up. You hear me? Stand up.
He's still playing possum, making out like he's unconscious.
I'll get him to his feet. There. Now, take that mask off him.
That does it.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now, to continue our story. Shark Larson's killers found a masked man sprawled on the deck of the Claire de Lune. They crowded close, holding lanterns as Shark pulled the man to his feet. The mate jerked off the mask.
All right, stop making believe you're unconscious or I'll slap your eyes wide open. We know who you are.
Shark, he don't look like he's bluffing.
Sure he is.
Let me see him. Hold that lantern closer.
His face ain't anything special.
I've seen this fella around town. He was in Raven's Roost a few hours ago.
Shark, look at his clothes.
What about him?
This ain't the man I hoisted to the deck.
You sure about that? Don't make a mistake, mate.
I'm sure of it. This ain't the Lone Ranger.
Larson, here's the masked man.
What's that, Raven?
Raven's found another masked man.
What is this? Someone's playing jokes with me. I'll scuttle them. Bring those lanterns.
This one's wearing a Texas hat just like the Lone Ranger. You got the right one this time,
Hold
Shark.
the lantern close. Get him to his feet.
I'll do it.
That's the right one.
How about knifing him right now?
No, you fool. I paid a big price for these men. If you kill them off, what I use for a crew. Make sure you got the right one and then get
Shark.
rid of it. Well, what's the matter now?
I hate to tell you, but this is another mistake. This man's only about half the size of the Lone Ranger.
Mistakes? I've had a barrel full of mistakes. How many masked men have you got on board? Answer me, mate. How many?
I don't know. I thought there was just one.
Fellas, come over here quick. I found a half dozen more men, and they've all got masks across their eyes.
Shark Larson, his mate, and his men hurried to the opposite deck, where the lanterns revealed half a dozen masked men, all of them unconscious. All of them men who'd been shanghaied. As Larson studied each in turn, his rage grew to new peaks.
That ain't the Lone Ranger. That ain't him. That ain't him.
One has a shirt like the Lone Ranger. Another's the Lone Ranger's size. Another had his hat. Another wore boots like his. And they all got masks.
Yeah, he's doing it to throw us off.
Wait. There's a watchman kept to make sure no one leaves the ship.
Aye.
And the Lone Ranger's got to be on board. When we find him, I'll take personal charge and see that he pays for all the trouble he's caused me. I'm going below. He's down there somewhere.
Below deck, in a tiny cabin, Sally Gearson sat on a small bench. Though captive for many days, her head was high and her eyes dry. The Gearson pride was stamped in every expression of defiance. From her blue eyes, hatred flashed like tiny darts of gleaming steel at the two Japs who sat next to the door on guard. One of these spoke English.
Plenty trouble on deck, topside. Here, boys of captain.
His bellowing will turn to bleeding when my father hears of this.
Who's there?
Open the door.
It's Captain.
The air in here wasn't already vile.
You had any trouble down here?
Oh, miss, try 1, 2, 3 time beat way out.
What's he saying?
Miss use fingernail. Make mark on face.
Serves you right for being off guard. All right, come in here.
Ain't there no place on this ship where there's decent light?
We ain't wasting lanterns in the brig. The lamp's light enough to make sure the girl's here. All right, shut that door. Now lock it again. You 4 men got your guns?
I have.
Sure thing.
What do you think we are?
And you 2 runts, you can at least shoot. Now, get this straight. The Lone Ranger is somewhere on board. He's here for just one thing. To get this girl.
The Lone Ranger? Oh, the things I've heard of him.
Well, you've heard the last of them. When your pa sent him to get you, he marked him for death.
Indeed.
Sooner or later, he'll come to this room hunting a girl. When he does, he's to be let in. As soon as the door is open and that critter comes in, open fire.
You don't believe in a fair fight, do you, Sheriff?
I fight to win, no matter how. Now get your guns out.
And drop them to the floor.
What's that?
I said drop your gun.
And I'm back in his place.
Short, that's him.
That'll do, Larson.
Now, won't someone else please swing a gun so as I can take a shot? Maybe I could drill his head instead of his arm.
Give me those guns.
Me never
That's
give
enough from you, weasel.
I never save or I'll bust your head in. These is Texas Rangers riding again. Dad, bust your salt-coated hides. Oh!
You'll never get off this boat alive. You ain't gonna
Larson?
No. Don't swing that gun barrel on me.
Got the rest of the weapons, Jim?
You're doggone right.
Larson, it was a simple matter to gag a couple of your companions and take their places with you.
You're full of tricks, but not full enough. You're here with a girl, but you ain't got her off the boat yet. And by the soul of the prophet, you won't get her off.
I gave you a rope, Jim. Is it still around your waist?
It sure is. But don't let's rope him yet. Let's throw down our guns and have some more fighting. I'm hankering to try my bare knuckles against the chins of these critters.
Tie them and gag Larson. We've a lot to do.
Oh, shucks.
You'll have fighting before we get Miss Gerson home.
Can't I help?
Take a couple of their guns, Miss Gerson, but don't use them unless it's your life or that of someone else.
Oh, how good fresh air will smell like. Oh,
Miss Gerson.
I'm all right. I won't faint. Not that kind, but just help me stand for a minute. I'm a little weak.
You just keep a hold there, partner. I'll tend to the rope on these mavericks. Say, ain't it odd how a little fast gunplay makes me forget all the saltwater talk I knew and throws me right back into my natural-born style of palaver?
Are you all right now, Miss Gerson?
Yes, but you'd better do as he says. My knees feel as if they could be stirred with a spoon.
Yeah, that takes care of all of them, including the little yellow rats. Strikes me a waste of time roping them, when I could step on them like I would a spider and keep them quiet for keeps.
Open the door, Jim. We'll see how the chances are to get out of here.
She's unlocked. And open. Better let me go ahead, make sure the coast is clear. Then you can come with Miss Sally.
Oh, like fun. I have guns. We'll all go together.
Can you swim?
Oh, like a fish. You don't mean all the way to shore?
No. I want you to go over the side and hang on to a line until we get a boat around to you.
Oh, very well.
I guess none of the men up there heard the noise below.
That brig is almost soundproof.
We're all near the bow. Come to the stern, Miss Garrison. There's a line there. I dropped it over the side.
Whatever you say. But are you sure it wouldn't be better to try to swim?
There's something else for you to do.
What's that?
You'll have to prove yourself a true granddaughter, Miss Garrison.
You mean like Granny?
Yes. I'll hold those guns, and I'll tell you later what to do.
Oh, very well.
Here's the line. I'll lift you over the rail.
I can slide down the line.
Get into the water and wait there.
I'll wait.
The plans of the Lone Ranger were unknown, even to Jim. When they were explained, the former cowboy gasped at the daring of those plans.
Wow. It's biting off an awful chunk.
Worth trying, Jim. Boats are tied alongside. The only ones who know about us are in the brig.
Here comes a couple of the men now. Hunting for us.
Stand back against that hatch.
Hold on a minute.
We ain't seen anyone like we're hunting. Have you?
Keep your hands where they are and don't move.
What?
Take them, Jim.
Right.
Sound from either of you, and you'll get what the others did. The gag's on first, Jim. We'll tie them after they're gagged. That'll do it. They'll be safe right here until daybreak.
They sure will.
And we'll go down here.
Hold on. Here's one of the poor unconscious critters still sprawled on the deck.
The one I loaned my hat. We'll get him later. There are about 7 or 8 more men I want to capture first.
By ones and twos, the Lone Ranger and Jimmy came upon the men who had been brought on board by Shark Larson. Ruthless, murdering thugs who would have welcomed the chance to win a bonus by killing the Lone Ranger.
This makes 5, Jim.
I'll have to cut a few more hooks of line from some of the sails before we deal with the next ones.
By ones and twos, the killers from the Barbary coast were tied and gagged and left in obscure places on the deck. Drag Raven among them, and then...
Nearly ready, Jim. I'm with the mate next.
We had to let him go past us once to save him for the last.
I see him.
Where?
At the binnacle. Come on.
It's getting close to midnight.
Yes, I know it. Mate.
We've hunted high and low.
Below deck, and hurry.
What's the matter?
This way. Shark Larson's in the brig.
Was a prisoner? What
He
of
needs
that?
you badly.
Did he send you?
Here's the hatch. Go below and help him.
Hold on. You're the one. You're the one we've been hunting.
Below you go.
Oh.
Batten her down, Jim.
I'll tend to it.
Now, mate, listen to me. I'm taking all the men you've shanghaied with me. Sally Gearson's father will be after you inside the hour. You'll find a crew that you can use below. They're roped and waiting for release.
Let me off. Listen, Ranger, we'll make a deal with you.
Come on, Jim. I've got to get my things back from a lot of unconscious men. And we've got to load those men into boats and head for shore.
Dad blasted, Sally. You're a chip of the old block.
I didn't know what he meant at the time, Granny, but then he brought a boat up to me with 3 unconscious men in it and one of the crooks. And I held a gun while the crook rowed.
And, Sally, you mean to say this Lone Ranger brought all of the men who had been shanghaied to shore?
Yes, Dad. He rowed one boat and Jimmy another. But he had his mask on then. I suppose I never will get to see his real face. Have you ever seen it, Dan?
Well, maybe I should answer that.
Gee whiz, sis. Why wouldn't he come here?
He wanted to get to his friend Tonto, Bob. He said he'd given Tonto instructions that he had to cancel before midnight. And then, too, he wanted to keep an eye on the Claire de Lune.
I'll have the law close in on that ship at once.
The window!
There he is. Let me open it.
Mesh and all. Great day, but what a job you've done.
Mr. Gearson, I just came to report that the Claire de Lune has set sail and is putting out to sea.
But how can it? According to Sally's story, you rescued all those poor devils who'd been taken on board.
Yes, but in their place were the men who had gone with Shark Larson to kill me.
What? You mean...
Yes, Daddy. I didn't have the chance to tell you before. Larson was released by the mate. He knew you'd be after him as soon as you could, so he put out to sea. But the only crew he could use were the men he'd taken on board.
Well, I never...
Serves them right.
Hey, you see, Bob? That's what I was telling you. That's how the Lone Ranger does things.
Come in here, man. Come in and let me...
There's a lot more to be done on the Barbary coast, Mr. Gearson. First of all, I want to see about Bart Sage, the man who tried to kill me. Dirk Gimlet, who hired him.
Oh, please come in. I feel faint again.
Good luck, Dan. Come on, Tonto. Steady, big fella. Come on, Silver.
Come on, Scout.
Well, Sally Gearson, you're feeling faint. Didn't get far.
No, not this time. Not this time, Granny.
And Silver,
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
This has been a presentation of OTRWesterns.com, and we hope you enjoyed. Please take some time to like and rate our shows in your favorite podcast application. Follow us on Facebook by going to OTRWesterns.com/Facebook. Join in the conversation by going to OTRWesterns.com/Discord. And don't forget to send us an email, podcast@OTRWesterns.com. This episode is copyright under the Attribution Non-Commercial Share Alike copyright. For more information, go to OTRWesterns.com/copyright. Have a great day, and again, thanks for listening.